Good morning, Nigeria, and I make you welcome. This is Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television from our corporate headquarters in Lagos State, Nigeria. I am Henry Igwebike. We'll be starting with our newspapers and, of course, see through some of them. We have 4 newspapers for this. I just truly do hope we'll have more than enough time to go through some of them. The Vanguard, Daily Trust, the Punch, and one other newspaper. And from there would be our conversation for today. Do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can reach us when you visit us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Very so honored to have joining me live in the studio is Emeka Madunagu, journalist, public affairs analyst, development communicator, to see what we have today, and equally another member of the press, Obong Thompson, journalist, public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much, my people, my colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do appreciate your time. Yes, Happy New Year to everyone. Yes, it's actually the first time, Obong Thompson, we are having you right here on Enterprise Television. Happy New Year to you. But let's start with the first daily on our desk for today. Let's start with the Guardian newspaper. We have big stories. Stay alert in public places. Defense headquarters advise citizens in Nigeria. We equally have other interesting stories. Reps Minority Caucus identifies alterations to tax law. Where is Sadio Mane in your team? Well, that is from the sports angle. We equally have other growing stories here. And as WEF, Shetima seeks African-led growth, or just a shift from aid to investment. Does it really mean this thing he's saying here, or was it just speaking to what was written down to him? But Emeka, let's get to this little, I do not know if to call it unsubstantiated report that we have going on now, that there is this pressure to replace Shetima because of the growing tension of coming from the United States to this Christian genocide thing. Hopefully, we have a president who's a Muslim and a vice president who's a Christian. Do you think that is on the table?
Yeah, so I learned, yes, it's been said again and again that there is this pressure on President Bola Tinubu to get a Christian candidate from the north. And again, he's there was a time, was it last year when, year before last, 2024, when, his interactions with former Speaker of the House of Reps, Yakubu Dogara, instigated speculations that he might be thinking of floating Dogara as a running mate in 2027. So with this Christian genocide thing, it appears as if, it has gained traction. That idea has seriously gained traction. Well, it's up to him. Tinubu is going to be only one candidate out of how many in the election. So it's his party's internal affairs.
All right, so let's see how that works, though. Obong Thompson, still on this matter at hand. They say our President Bola Tinubu is a strategist, political strategist that is, and he's really doing a lot and on the table. Right now, NNPP from Kano have all shifted to the APC. Don't you think that the replacement of Shetima might be, with all of these things you see him doing, hopefully he gains all the support from states, so therefore it's easy for him to...
Well, you see, the essence of Shetima coming in as the vice president was to, according to the report and what Shetima as then was even making it public, was that he will be able to handle the security situation in the country, while President Tinubu will concentrate to restore the economic the falling economic situation in Nigeria. But with the two, narratives, we've not been able to see all those things coming on board, especially with the growing insecurity in the northern part of Nigeria. So, Shetima has been there for close to 4 years now. The security tension is still high. So, I would rather want to see how President Tinubu will be able to replace Shettima. And I think because there's something to fall back to, to substantiate or back up his decision or his strategy, that because of the insecurity, he can, be able to drop Shettima. But I think these are not the yearnings of Nigerians, whether, vice presidency or cerebral. These are not what Nigerians are interested in.
So replacing him does not really do any good to Nigerians.
Nigerians, Nigerians are hungry and, they want, employment opportunities, they want, opportunities, to be, to move about without being molested or killed or kidnapped. So these are what the presidency should focus its attention on.
All right, I think it's very important. I love that last word. Nigerians actually do not care, who governs them, from what religion or from what tribe. What they are more concerned about is give us dividends of democracy so we all can be proud Nigerians. So even if Shettima is replaced and we still have killings in the north and different parts of the country, it still doesn't make any sense. But let's get to the Punch newspaper for today. Emeka, insecurity, anxiety as NYSC camps open in high risk state. Do you think, many decades after, do you think NYSC is still relevant?
Why not? It is. NYSC is relevant. Other nations like Israel, they have their own version of NYSC.
Yeah, for their security. Not
every nation,
not for us.
Every nation has what it's most important to. But I feel that NYSC is due for an overhaul and a change of mission. We have serious challenges in many areas, critical areas in the economy. In the oil industry, there are a lot of positions that cannot be filled by Nigerians. You have to bring in foreigners, especially Indians, technical positions, and especially in welding, underwater welding, there's a kind of welding, again, I've forgotten the name, that you can't get Nigerians, you can hardly get Nigerians. And then the government has a local content policy. How are we filling that local content policy in the oil industry, in other areas? How are we filling them up? We are filling them up with expatriates. So I think NYSC should be a 2-year program, whereby, within which, first of all, the government should drop a vision Nigeria. Now, do we want to be an industrialized nation? Do we want to be a services nation? Do we want to be an agro-allied nation? Or do we want to remain an oil-producing nation? The world has gone beyond just digging the soil and bringing things out. The world has gone beyond that. The world has now gone to mining the brain. And that's why Elon Musk was saying at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, that he told people don't go to medical school, that in 5 years, AI will think smarter than much of humanity. So, what is he saying? That there'll be doctors, robotics. Yes, so
that's scary. Actually.
What I mean, no, it's not the world, Nigeria, we like approaching things from the angle of fear. Why did Google and Ipsos say that Nigeria is number 1 in the world in AI adoption, in the use of AI? What it tells you is that we are not interested in how many barrels of oil you get from the Niger Delta. We are not interested in how many tubers of yam are coming out of whichever state. We are more interested in what we use, in how we use technology to process, our what comes out of our gray matter. So what am I saying? NYSC should key into it. President Tinubu said sometime last year that Nigeria will drive Africa's adoption of AI. But we don't see that. Nigeria doesn't even have an AI framework. National Assembly is still talking or working on it. They are more interested in building houses, building schools and all that. Instead of brainstorming on I can say it without fear of contradiction, that a large number of them don't even understand the intricacies of AI. What AI is it? AI is it? Look, I'm sure like those of us on this table and many parents today, we have to constantly follow up global trends, events. If not, our children will embarrass us. My little daughter is 10, was asking me certain questions about AFCON. I answered. When it came to WAFCON, I didn't forget WAFCON is the female version of AFCON. She asked me, I said, okay, I will check and
get back.
10 years. So it tells you, why will these children be in 5 years? And this is 2026. So Elon Musk is telling you that in 3 years, that AI will take over everything. So NYSC should be repackaged in that line if we are really serious. And you don't have to deploy people all over the nation. No. You can deploy NYSC, deploy them to areas of need. And let me tell you something. Put up a competition today and tell youths that anybody that can generate solutions to banditry, how to end banditry, in 1 week will win $1 million. Let me tell you.
You see solutions.
Even Elon Musk will pay to buy those rights, to buy the patent. Yes.
Very, very, very true. Obong, I would love you to add your thoughts on this, because these are very salient truth, but they are there. Our leaders seem not to see these things. They seem not to understand some of these things. So what's your take?
I think there's a popular saying that the only constant thing in life is change. And we have been operating NYSC for some time now with an objectives. But if we really meet up with that objectives, you will see that Nigerians are even more, divisive now than ever. And the essence of the NYSC was to unify Nigerians and allow Nigerians to learn through different tribes, regions, cultures, and religion, and so on, and have that tolerance to be able to, become patriotic and work in all, a sector of Nigerian economy without any favoritism. But that has been defeated as we speak. So what Mr. Emeka is saying is the right approach that should be taken at this point in time. I would liken NYSC to United Nations. I once said, even before Donald Trump, formed Board of Peace, I had earlier suggested, and I put it on my Facebook post, that the objectives and the functions of United Nations has been, it has become stale, because, they no longer, perform the function that they were set up for. And they cannot even, they only send in press releases, just like what we have in PDP today. They make press releases, no proactive.
You are shaking the table.
No proactive measures taken to forestall all the wars and whatsoever we are having all around the world. So the same thing happens in NYSC program. The program has overstayed its welcome and had to undergo some reforms that will take a place that will become solution oriented to the Nigerian people and Nigerian states.
All right. I just hope that all of this would work. It actually started getting worse when parents started selecting where their kids could go to. They started bribing their way through, and I do not know how. Finally, just before we end for this particular segment, Emeka, since this is the weekend, let's talk entertainment for a bit, but I'd love us to look at it from people who understand from historical facts here. There's this debate, this little social media war between Fela and Nicola Okuti and the new generation of Wizkid. Generation at war. That's how they labeled it on the Punch. Generation at war. Fela, of course, Wizkid. It's usually said that when people do not know how good their grandparents were, they always think they are better than them.
Yeah.
So what's your take on this? Is this a generational thing that is historical, that we shouldn't blame our current generation for insulting those who were there before them. What's your take?
No, I think Wizkid was just trying to overstretch his popularity. He said that he's the one pushing Fela's legacy forward. That's not true now. We saw Fela, we danced Fela, we sang Fela, you know, we danced with Fela.
Yeah, not the millennials now. What he is directly saying is that he's pushing it amongst his age grade.
No, he's pushing Afro beats, not Fela. There's a distinction. Fela was Fela. Fela created Afrobeats, right? He did a fusion and all of that. It's just like trying to compare King Sunny Ade or Sir Victor Waifo with younger, you know. Sir Victor Waifo brought in dexterity with the guitar. The same thing with King Sunny Ade. He has his own style. So if you try to copy him, you will fail. But in the general genre of juju music, you can do your thing, no problem. But if you begin to now, let's say you gotta get a spinning guitar like Sir Victor Waifo, one day the guitar will fall off your waist now. Because Sir Victor Waifo will be spinning the guitar, and at a time you just wondered at his dexterity. He will just go up. The way he will start playing the guitar. In fact, it's not even the lyrics, people, the theatrical performance.
The art in it.
Oh my. You will not even want to go away. And don't forget, Sir Victor Waifo set up the first private TV station in Nigeria, Joromi Television, in 1981. In 1981, Joromi Television. I was growing up in Benin then. You know, Joromi Television. And so when it comes to the visual arts, the role of visual arts in entertainment, you know, those men, give it to those men. They had it. Those men and women, you know, they had it. Fela, you not only enjoyed Fela's music, the art was there. But tell me the art in what many of these guys are showing today. We're talking of art, not just entertainment, not just singing. Yes, give it to Wizkid. Beautiful, he's doing his own. But Fela was an institution. And Fela has given birth. You know, Fela's style, Fela's genre, Fela's art has given birth to different musicians. You know, using Afrobeat, some you know, mixing Afrobeat with other genres. How can you now say you are greater than the man
who created the ecosystem for you?
How can you be greater than? I think maybe some people close to Wizkid should advise him to step up that controversy, and then Shehu Kuti should leave him alone.
Exactly, because, you know, yes, Rebecca, because I wanted to get into that. Obong Thompson, should we blame Shehu Kuti, who is more of, he has this, yes, and weakest,
he's too combative
temperament. So, you see the cause of all of these things.
Yeah, I think he has heightened the tension, you know, and the awareness about the comment by Wizkid, which I believe the substance in what the today music is giving out cannot be compared to what we had in the time of Fela and so on. You know, apart from the music itself, you see, Fela himself was in the forefront of, you know, criticizing bad governance, you know, across the world, not only in Nigeria. So such a great icon cannot be, you know, just like comparing Michael Jackson with one other musician in America.
Maybe
you know, these are people that have their shoes cannot be matched or it cannot be worn by any other person. So they have set their values, their standard, and you know, Shehu should allow Nigerians, because already the case is in the public forum, and Nigerians are making, you know, their contributions. They know who is who, you know, who is what and who is not what. So Wizkid, you know, I will not take him serious, because for him to have said, make that kind of ambiguous statement, I think he's not fully aware of who Fela was.
Very well. Our people would say that if the elders are not there to lend their caution, that kids would kill vultures thinking they are chickens. That is the truth, and I just hope that something will be learned from that. But Both gentlemen, Emeka and Obong, will be here to take us on our main conversation. When we return, the APC civil society rise against the Rivers impeachment threat, call for National Assembly intervention. In the Beat Enterprise weekend it is. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.